Predator: Badlands ended up taking the lead over Prey 2 for a pretty simple reason. Back in February, it was confirmed that Prey director Dan Trachtenberg was moving forward with a brand new Predator movie. Instead of continuing Naru's story in a direct sequel, he decided to push the franchise in a completely new direction with Badlands, which hits theaters this November. Fans are hyped for the movie, but many have been wondering what happened to the talks about a Prey follow-up that would have brought Amber Midthunder back as Naru. Producer Ben Rosenblatt cleared things up, explaining that Prey 2 isn't cancelled, it's still on the table. But both he and Trachtenberg wanted to shake things up again. Just like Prey did, they wanted their next project to surprise audiences and take a creative swing no one's tried before. Instead of simply doing another Prey set in a different era, they felt Badlands offered the chance to move the story forward in a way that felt bold, fresh, and unexpected. While a Prey sequel might have been the obvious next move, Trachtenberg decided to take the opposite route with Badlands. Prey brought back the raw fear and tension of the original 1987 movie, but Badlands flips the formula by introducing something the franchise has never done before: the first true protagonist, Yautja. Where Prey explored the earliest point in the timeline, Badlands jumps all the way to the far future, placing it closer to the Alien films than any previous Predator story. Trachtenberg's been steadily steering the series into fresh territory, and you can already see that creative streak in this summer's animated anthology Killer of Killers. In many ways, it played like a spiritual sequel to Prey, dropping the Predator into different time periods and expanding the mythology in wild new ways. The mid-credit scene even directly ties to Prey, revealing that Naru has been captured by the Predators and kept in stasis on their home planet, right alongside Dutch and Detective Mike Harrigan from the classic films. That twist opens the door for her story to continue, whether in another animated project or a live-action set on the Predator homeworld. Trachtenberg later clarified that this scene isn't about time travel, it's all about cryotech. The Predators pull warriors straight out of their own timelines, freeze them, and then unfreeze them whenever it's time for another bloodsport hunt. The idea calls back to 2010's Predators, where elite killers and soldiers were dropped onto an alien planet to be hunted, but Killer of Killers takes it to another level. The final shot shows endless rows of cryopods, hinting that hundreds of humans across history have actually managed to kill Yautja and ended up preserved as trophies. From a storytelling perspective, that final image is more than just a cool cliffhanger. It's a full-on bridge to the franchise's future. Naru being alive but trapped in stasis sets up the perfect launch point for her next chapter. She could break out on her own, or maybe someone frees her, leading to a whole new arc. Seeing Harrigan and Dutch right beside her feels like a direct setup for a massive crossover, uniting iconic hunters from across different eras against a threat bigger than anything the Predators have faced before. Killer of Killers doesn't just expand the mythology, it redefines it, positioning Naru as the key to connecting every part of the Predator universe. If Prey 2 builds on that idea, we might not just see Naru's return, but a full-blown alliance of legendary warriors going head-to-head with an entirely new nightmare. The ending of Prey delivered one of the best cliffhangers in the entire franchise. 3 Predator ships hovering over Naru's Comanche tribe. Prey 2 looks set to pick up right where that moment left off, showing how her people face a second wave of alien invaders after barely surviving the first. Now that Naru has become War Chief, her strength as both a fighter and a leader will be tested in ways she's never experienced before. If Amber Midthunder officially returns, it'll mark a big turning point for the series. The Predator movies have always switched protagonists with every entry, but bringing Naru back would give the franchise something it's never really had: an ongoing central character. That alone adds a new sense of continuity and emotional depth. Her story could move beyond just surviving the hunt, diving into the aftermath of her first encounter, her responsibilities as War Chief, and her growing understanding of the threat that still looms over her tribe. It's the kind of character arc that could make Naru the first true recurring hero of the Predator saga, bringing real heart and progression to a series built on standalone survival stories. Of course, not everyone thinks Prey needs a sequel. The first film worked perfectly as a self-contained story, but if Prey 2 can capture that same intensity and grounded realism, it could push the franchise into exciting new territory. The key is keeping that raw, survival-driven energy intact. If it leans too hard into big action and spectacle, it risks losing the intimate focus that made Prey feel so different and so good. Prey was a gamble that paid off, stripping the series back to its primal roots. It turned the Predator into a myth again, something terrifying, unstoppable, and almost otherworldly. Instead of high-tech firefights, it was about cunning, instinct, and survival. That's what connected with audiences. It proved that the Predator franchise doesn't need to go bigger. It needs to go smarter. If Prey 2 can hold on to that formula while evolving Naru's journey, it might just deliver the most meaningful story the series has ever told. The biggest challenge for Prey 2 is avoiding the same trap that past sequels fell into, going bigger and louder while losing the tension and intimacy that made the first film so powerful. The ending of Prey teased a full-on showdown between Naru and a fleet of predators, which sounds awesome on paper but could easily overshadow the raw, personal struggle that made her original fight so gripping. If Dan Trachtenberg can balance that larger scale with the stripped-down survival horror tone, Prey 2 could end up being just as bold and groundbreaking as its predecessor. Meanwhile, Predator Badlands is shaping up to be a huge step for the franchise. Not only could it tie into both Killer of Killers and Prey, but it might even set the stage for a new Alien vs. Predator movie. Elle Fanning is playing Thea, a synthetic created by the Weyland-Yutani Corporation, the same shady company that's been central to the Alien series for decades. With the success of recent hits like Prey, Alien Romulus, Killer of Killers, and Alien Earth, both universes are firing on all cylinders, and Badlands looks ready to keep that energy going. Honestly, the Predator franchise couldn't be in better hands. Dan Trachtenberg clearly gets what makes these stories work. His direction on Prey was so strong that Disney put him in charge of the entire franchise, basically making him the James Gunn of the Predator universe. With both Badlands and Prey 2 under his creative vision, we're finally seeing this series build into a cohesive, connected saga instead of a loose collection of standalone entries. Prey was the comeback nobody expected, but everyone needed. It revived a franchise that had lost its way after the 2018 reboot, earning back the respect of longtime fans and winning over a whole new audience. Now, all eyes are on Prey 2 to keep that momentum going, to keep the Predator scary, the story tight, and Naru's journey meaningful. If Trachtenberg can pull it off, next Prey could go down as one of the best sci-fi horror sequels ever made.